Hello, friends. We are coming up on our 1-year anniversary for being basically in lockdown because of the coronavirus pandemic. And it is a beautiful, I would say glorious spring day outside. And the flowers are starting to bloom in the garden. Pink and yellow and red and white and purple. It's just absolutely glorious outside. And it has struck me many times during this year that nature hasn't noticed that we're in lockdown, except for the fact that many things have thrived in nature because of less human activity. I read an article that was talking about bird songs, and they've been studying them, before the pandemic and during the pandemic, and realized that the birds' songs were becoming much more intricate and beautiful, in a better range for the birds. And what they concluded was that in normal times, with normal traffic and human activity, the birds were shouting. And now that there's less traffic and less human activity, the birds can sing in a normal tone of voice, and they're much happier about it. So this is another example of how we humans are pretty insensitive to nature. We're caught up in our own minds, and we're only basically thinking of ourselves. As Ayn Rand would say, we are venerating the great God ego. But I know it's difficult for many people. It's very, it's very lonely. It's depressing in some ways, but I urge everyone to get outside. And my therapy, my personal therapy, was that I bought some caladium bulbs and some new little flower pots, and I'm going to make the garden more beautiful. So if you can do something in nature, I really recommend it. A friend of mine says, if you want to know if you're living in the moment, notice whether or not you register that the birds are singing. And if you can acknowledge that beautiful song of the birds, it's a good indicator that you're living in the now. You're not creating all this turbulence in your mind, thinking about the future or ruminating about the problems of the past, but you're in the present moment, which is really all we ever have. And it's where we will find God. So don't be dismayed at the pandemic or at anything that's raging around you. Be complete in your inner self. Strive for inner peace. That's what this whole thing is trying to teach us. It's what it feels like it's trying to teach me. And so let's go deep within. Find the inner strength to be joyful and to be happy, no matter what the circumstances.